Welcome back to another YouTube video. We got Raw and NXT to talk about. So, Raw. Finn Balor versus Matt Riddle was basically the first thing that happened on the show. Matt Riddle came out and fought Seth Rollins for a little bit. They had like a brawl in the ring. Seth runs away. Judgment Day comes out. We get Finn versus Matt. So, there you go. Finn beats Matt Riddle. I expected Finn to win. Matt Riddle's going to have another match against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins interfered in this match, by the way, which is why Finn Balor won. Edge beat Dominic via DQ because Edge was going to beat up. I'm assuming he was going to spear Dominic while his hands were tied up in the ropes. And Ray was like, no, don't hurt my son. And then Ray got beat up by Judgment Day. And then Edge got beat up some more by Judgment Day. So we had a women's tag match. Raquel and Aaliyah lost the tag titles to Io and Dakota. Like we all didn't see this coming, right? Like we knew Io and Dakota were gonna get those titles at some point. It's pretty obvious. So yeah, Bailey says basically she's gonna go for the women's championship. She didn't necessarily specify when, but more than likely we're gonna get Bailey and it's probably gonna be Bailey versus Bianca at Extreme Rules and Alexa Bliss and Oscar versus Dakota and Io. Johnny Gargano versus Chad Gable. Johnny Gargano beat Chad Gable, as he should have. And then Kevin Owens, well, Austin Theory attacked Johnny Gargano, and then Kevin Owens came out, cut a promo talking about how me and guys like Johnny Gargano built the pro wrestling business. We deserve to be here. Guys like Austin Theory are a dime a dozen. So, yep. Kevin Owens and Austin Theory are gonna have another match next week. Like they had a match last week, but they're gonna have a match this week too, or next week. Sorry. Had a match. Bianca Belair defends the Raw Women's Championship against Sonya Deville. Match went through a commercial break, so they gave it time. I mean, we all knew who was going to win. Dexter Lumis continues to target The Miz. Miz has an interview in his house, but it wasn't even really an interview. It was the kids came in, they're going off to bed. Maurice was standing there waiting for Miz because they had to go somewhere. So they went somewhere. And then you get the camera guy turning around and Dexter Lumis is in the house drawing a picture. So, yeah, interesting. Okay, well, that was pretty much Raw. Like I went through everything. Pretty Deadly versus the Creed Brothers. Pretty Deadly win because of Damon Kemp. It interferes to distract the Creed Brothers. He like climbed up halfway up the cage, and then one of the Creed brothers like they managed to knock him down, but Damon Kemp also manages to handcuff him to the steel cage. So that was an interesting way to stop somebody from winning a match. At least interesting in the sense that we haven't seen handcuffs in a match since what? I don't know. I know it hasn't been since like the Roman and Kevin Owens match. Like I know we've seen handcuffs since that. I just don't remember the last time we saw somebody get handcuffed in the wrestling context of things within the last like year or so. I don't remember. Fallon Henley versus Last Legend. Fallon Henley beat Last Legend, as she should. Fallon Henley, probably a long way away from going for the women's championship, but She'll get there. Toxic Jackson come out after this? Oh yeah, they did. Okay, so yeah, Toxic Attraction came out. Basically, Mandy Rose was talking about how she's been champion forever, and then Alba Fire comes out and says, "I want the next shot at the women's championship." So I'm fairly certain we're gonna get Alba versus Mandy Rose at some point. I don't know when. Cora Jade and Wendy too. That match is happening next week. Quincy Elliott beat Sean Gallagher. Um, what does Quincy Elliott do a bonsai drop? And then a bar two typical bonsai drop finish. Oh yeah, it is a bonsai drop. Okay, let's see. The D'Angelo family versus Cameron Grimes, and it was going to be Cameron Grimes by himself, but then Joe Gacy came out to help him. So Cameron Grimes, Joe Gacy win. Cameron Grimes is like, "I'm not joining your family," and then the Dyad beat up Cameron Grimes. So as you would expect. Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark versus Kiana James and Ariana Grace. Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark win. Again, as to be expected. I don't know when they're going to get the tag titles. I'm sure they're going to get them at some point. I just don't know when. JD McDonough basically setting up a match with Tyler Bate. So, yeah, we're getting that match next week. And it's a number one contenders match for the NXT Championship. Javier Barnell versus Hank Walker. Hank Walker is literally a security guard. Like, he's obviously like a wrestler in training or whatever, but he's a security guard on TV. Hank Walker wins this match, by the way. Match was all right. Carmelo Hayes versus Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa beat Carmelo Hayes, as you would expect, because Solo Sikoa is part of the bloodline now. So everyone in the bloodline, except the honorary Oos, Sami Zayn, has gold. What happens now? Who knows? Guess we'll find out. Well, Dynamite's in like 12, not more than 12 hours, 12 plus hours from now. So, yeah, Dynamite should be good today. But yeah, anyways, that's everything. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Happy wrestling, everybody.